Greetings. It's stardate 22/07/2025. I'm on planet Earth, walking along the Lee Valley Canal in Hackney, and I'm kind of wondering why I haven't done this for a long time. It's a bit of a reflective move this morning. I mean, I do walk along the canal to get from A to B in a very functional manner, but I haven't really gone on one of my spiritual sojourns where I walk and talk alongside water and nature and kind of challenge some of the social justice issues that are pressing, or at least pressing in my mind. I came to this really strange conclusion. It's that after 25, coming 30 years of activism, I'm reaching a point where I'm almost burnt out. Wow. Feels weird even just saying that, right? Burnt out. It feels like a failing, as if I've done something wrong. Well, no, that's what it is. I'm tired. Next year I'm going to be 60, and I've been doing this most of my adult life. And so, what am I doing this morning? Don't know. I woke up, had this urge just to walk and talk, as they say. And as I was listening to music, I heard the song by George Benson, "What's on Your Mind?" And it made me think, wouldn't that be a great name for a blog, like a chat show or a community program or something? No agenda, I won't say no political bias, because clearly I have loads of political biases. I'm a Pan-Africanist, I'm human rights centred. But just this idea that anyone can drop in and speak what's on their mind. And so I'm glad I put the camera in my pocket this morning, because that's exactly, I'll say what I hope to do, because the amount of work I have is still excessive. Yesterday, UK government announced it's going to do a deal with a company called OpenAI to use their software, their programming, to streamline government processes, and that actually terrifies me. I guess the only other thing that's really been on my mind is this Ferrari with Diane Abbott, the MP, who's been accused of being racist because she would dare suggest there are racisms. There are different forms and expressions of racism depending on the cultural and social context. And she's been suspended from the Labour Party. Now, of course, this is ludicrous. She's right. Doesn't always express these things in a good way, but she's accurate. And of course, her to be suspended, especially without the Labour Party employing or talking to any experts or academics, scholars on this particular topic, is really going to come back and bite them on the bum, because if this did go to court, which I know it won't, but if it did, they'd been for a tanning for a hiding. They would lose. But it did make me think, what would I have done? What would have been my response if Legali was still working at full steam with a full complement of volunteers and helpers? And I realised that actually some of the solutions are staring us right in the face and we don't see it. So let's deal with the action that can be taken right now. Well, the first thing is that someone who's happy to receive a whole lot of media attention, and that certainly isn't me, would set up one of those petitions on a government website. Now, with over 2 million African people in the UK, it would rapidly reach the 100k threshold, which would force a debate in Parliament about this particular topic. and we would win. It's not rocket science. Now the window of opportunity is closing rapidly, but I kind of wonder why that hasn't been done. There's so many of us who are engaged in community work, who have huge followings on social media, but we often refuse to take counsel from elders such as me because we're a little bit prickly, a little bit eccentric. That's the immediate action to take place to secure a political win. But the long-term solution is a bit more complex. You see, because people like myself and various Pan-Africanists have for a long time argued that we need to move away from this label black. Yes, I know all Pan-Africanists say this, don't call black, blah, 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 blah. It goes as far back as Malcolm saying this. And of course, these newbies think they know better than Malcolm and Du Bois and Nkrumah and Kwame Ture. Of course, they know more. They've experienced more than these scholars, these giants. But of course, the whole idea is that Diane Abbott's framing of the issue is what caused a problem. If she'd used the term Afrophobia, which is quite specific, she wouldn't have been in this mess. When you use a term like anti-black racism, then what you're doing is that you're taking a generic term, which is racism, which applies to all of humanity, and slapping a qualifier on it, which changes every 5 minutes. Like, who's black today is not necessarily who's going to be black tomorrow. We might mean people of African heritage, which is what we should actually say when we refer to the term black, but other people don't. If you're using Australia, for example, the term black would have a different meaning. And so in short, the long-term strategy to the problem that Diane Abbott found herself in is to start formally referring to discrimination that is faced by people of African heritage as Afrophobia. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Until we do these kind of things and take our own oppression seriously, define our own reality in our own terms, drawing upon our own lived experience, then when they come back to this problem, it's not the first time this has happened, over and over again. Anyway, it's raining now. I've said what's on my mind. So I'm going to sign off. Morning. And say as ever, may the ancestors continue to guide and protect you. Ashe.
If you don't let it show, we may never know just what's on your mind.